All right, let's jump right in. If you have ever, and I mean ever, stared at a blank page and just felt this wave of dread wash over you, or you find yourself writing a sentence only to delete it 2 seconds later, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the brilliant ideas from Henriette Klauser's book, Writing on Both Sides of the Brain, to figure out why writing feels so painful sometimes, and, this is the best part, how a tiny shift in your process can literally change everything. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. This quote is from someone in one of Klauser's workshops, but honestly, it could be from any one of us. It just perfectly nails that feeling of frustration, right? The sense that putting your thoughts into words is this constant uphill battle. It's a feeling so many of us share, but here's the good news. There's a way out. So that leads us to the big question. Why? Why is this thing that should be so simple, just getting our thoughts out, why does it cause so much stress and paralysis? Well, it turns out the problem isn't that you're not talented or that you're short on ideas. Nope. The problem is the process we've all been taught. To fix this, first we've got to figure out what's actually causing what Klauser calls the panic of the page. You know that feeling, that sinking in your stomach when you're just facing a blinking cursor on an empty screen? The root of all that anxiety, it isn't you, it's the messed up way we've been taught to approach the whole task. And here it is. This is the core diagnosis of the entire book. The one habit that's behind almost all of our writing problems is this. We try to write and edit at the exact same time. We're trying to create and critique in the very same breath. And what that does is it basically starts a civil war inside our own feds, and it just stops us cold.
To really get this internal conflict, Klauser gives us this amazing metaphor, borrowing two characters from Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. These two voices, Caliban and Ariel, they perfectly represent the two warring parts of our brain that we're trying to use whenever we write.
Okay, so first up, meet Caliban. In the play, he's this dark, monstrous character. And in your head, Caliban is that nagging, negative inner critic. It's the voice whispering, "That sounds so dumb," or "Who do you think you are, a writer?" He's the one who's constantly judging, crossing out words, and telling you you're just not good enough. He is your editor, but he's showing up way too early to the party. And then there's Ariel. Ariel is all about freedom and flight. This is your creative spirit, the part of you where inspiration, rhythm, and style just live. Ariel is where the color comes from, the flow, those amazing ideas that just pop into your head out of nowhere. This is the voice we need to let fly if we actually want to get anything written. And look, this isn't just some nice little story. It maps directly onto how our brains actually work. Caliban is your left brain, logical, analytical, loves rules. Ariel is your right brain, intuitive, creative, loves freedom. So you see the problem, right? When you try to write, you're asking these two polar opposites to work at the same time. And what happens? The loud, bossy, critical Caliban almost always shouts down the quiet, creative Ariel. Okay, so here's the secret sauce. We have to learn how to tame Caliban. We need to silence that inner critic just long enough to give Ariel a chance to get some words out. Now, the goal isn't to get rid of the critic completely. He's actually useful later. The goal is just to put him in his proper place, which is at the end of the process, not at the very beginning. Now, one of the coolest ways to quiet that inner critic is to just zoom out, way out, and get some perspective. Klauser borrows this amazing analogy from Carl Sagan's cosmic calendar. The idea is you squeeze the entire 15 billion year history of the universe into one single calendar year. So on this scale, the Big Bang happens on January 1st. Our solar system doesn't even show up until September. The first humans, they don't appear until 10:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve. And the invention of the alphabet, get this, that happens at 11:59 p.m. and 51 seconds. Let that sink in. On a cosmic scale, the act of writing is only 9 seconds old. 9 seconds. And yet we put all this insane pressure on ourselves to be perfect at it, this skill our species has barely had any time to learn. So just relax. Give yourself a break. It is totally okay to still be learning this brand new human trick. Okay, with that new perspective, let's get practical. Here's the first tool to shut Caliban up. It's called rapid writing. The rules couldn't be simpler. You set a timer for 10 minutes and you just write. You don't stop, you don't go back and correct typos, you don't judge anything. And if your inner critic, Caliban, starts yelling at you, you literally write down what he says. "This is garbage, I'm out of ideas." And then you just keep on writing. You are physically separating creation from critique.
Now, here's a really important part of this whole thing, and it's absolutely crucial. You have to push through what Klauser calls the mountain climber's wall. You'll know it when you feel it. It's that moment, maybe 7 or 8 minutes in, when you feel like you have absolutely nothing left to say, and you just want to quit. That's the wall. But just like a climber who's almost at the summit, that is the exact moment you have to keep going, because your best stuff is almost always waiting for you right on the other side.
This reminds me of this amazing story from the book. There was an author who got completely stuck on page 53 of her book, just totally blocked. But she pushed through that wall, writing pages and pages of what she called molasses prose, just thick, slow, terrible stuff. And then suddenly, the flow came back. She realized the difference between someone who writes and an author is page 53. It's the guts to push past that wall. All right, so you've learned how to silence Caliban, you've used rapid writing to get a flood of words out, but now what? What about organizing all those ideas? Well, our inner critic loves to paralyze us here too. He demands we create a perfect Roman numeral outline before we've even figured out what we want to say. The alternative to that rigid outline is a technique called branching. Think of it as a whole brain way to outline that actually works with how your mind naturally connects ideas. You just put your main idea in a circle in the middle of the page, and then you radiate thoughts outward, like spokes on a wheel. It's messy, it's visual, it's flexible, and it lets you add ideas anywhere at any time. You're letting the structure reveal itself naturally instead of trying to force it from the top down.
So we figured out how to tame our inner critic, and we found a new, more natural way to organize our thoughts. Now, let's put it all together into a new, stress-free writing process that actually respects both sides of your brain.
Here it is, your new 3-step workflow. Step 1 is ruminate. Just let yourself daydream, let ideas bubble up without any pressure. Step 2 is write. This is Ariel's time to shine. You use rapid writing and branching to get everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, out on the page. No judgment allowed. And only then do you move to step 3, edit. Now, and only now, do you invite Caliban back in. Your inner critic goes from being your worst enemy to your best friend, helping you polish and shape all that amazing raw material Ariel gave you. Each part of your brain gets a turn, but in the right order. When you separate these jobs, you completely transform writing from this painful, agonizing battle into a process that's productive and, dare I say it, even joyful. So now that you know the secret to giving your creative voice the freedom it's been craving, what are you going to write first? What's that story, that report, that idea that you're finally going to get down on the page?